Well, this is the Indian Mounds Park. Gorgeous little park. All this Spanish moss hanging down from these, I guess, live oak trees, or some type of oak trees. Sure don't see any Indian mounds around. On my way to, I believe it's Belle Meade and Ortona Indian Mounds. It's a Army Corps of Engineers campground. I'll be there shortly for a one-night stay, and then I'm off to the Everglades, Lone Pine Key Campground. I think that's the name of it. I'll fill you in here in a minute. Nice place. A little diversion. The Army Corps campground. What a difference from the KOA. And about a third as expensive. I forgot to ask the lady how to pronounce it. I think it's Ortona or Ortona. But what a job getting in here. And she says the minute they go up, they're booked. November through May. Or I'm sorry, November through March. Beautiful campground. After getting my campsite set up at the Army Corps of Engineers campground, I walked over to the locks, so you're able to walk right across them, and watched as they locked through a sailboat. The upper level of the river is 8 feet above the lower level, so they allowed the sailboat, they opened the upper gates, allowed the sailboat to enter the lock. The sailboat just kind of held the ropes on the side, and then they closed the upper gates and opened the lower gates, allowing the water to fall 8 feet and allowing the sailboat to exit through the lower gates. They then closed the lower gates and brought the water level back up 8 feet and awaited the next boat. You're able to traverse the state of Florida from the Atlantic Ocean to the Gulf, or vice versa, through a series of Army Corps locks and using Lake Okeechobee. I see one fish down there, pretty good size. Good luck. Oh. Down in the Everglades, headed over to Long Pine Key Campground. A couple nights there. So it was a little bit of a drive down from Ortona Army Corps campground. Very nice campground. Only had one night there though, unfortunately. It's a bear to get into it between November and March. All the snowbirds are down here. And you're lucky to get into Long Pine Key. Anyway, 2 days there. I'll tour around Everglades a little bit, and then we're off to the Keys. And for Hannah's wedding. So, seas of grass. Pretty much the Everglades. I guess they get some keys and stuff down at the end in the bay area. The swamp. You look out and you think it's just grass, but it's a swamp. It must be water levels. I'd say this is a pretty popular trail. An Inga Trail off of Royal Palm stopover. Different areas of the Everglades. Little baby alligators. What do you think of that? You're speechless, huh?
She doesn't understand.
Oh, I see. Let's see the tail and the body of this guy. 5-footer. Some type of fish. I don't know if that'll come out.
Crocodiles, alligators, manatees, but missiles? How can there be a military base in the smack middle of a national park? But if you were living in the 60s and you were bored, you would have turned on your radio and you would have listened to the tunes along the likes of maybe Elvis Presley. You had rock and roll, you had the Beatles, you had the Beach Boys, but the decade of the 60s wasn't a happy-go-lucky decade. It was also a decade of bitter, intense disagreement, particularly in the year 1962. In the year 1962, the world held its breath for 2 weeks thinking that there was going to be a third world war. Wall mural, this is original art, and it might not be as significant as the St. Peter's Basilica. This may not be as cool as your Romanesque Gothic architecture, but this site is still significant, especially for us here in the United States. This site shows to us how the U.S. Army air defense system would have looked like during the height of the Cold War. Denmark, Greece, when Charles Carter approached that locked gate and he peered in, he was amazed. Wow, this site is still left standing. And once he had that realization, a park ranger shows up. Excuse me, sir, this site is closed to public access. Do you have any questions for me? Charles Carter said, I have no questions. I'd rather got a statement. A statement? Yes, a statement. I was one of the veterans stationed here in the 60s. And the fact that Everglades National Park has this site locked up is such a shame. Why don't you guys open this up? Bring in some signs. Make a program out of it. Maybe even bring in a missile. I guarantee you that it'll be one of the most popular programs that the park has to offer. The park ranger said, sir, that's a little bit above my pay grade, but I've got the right person to connect with. It was the superintendent.
Lone Pine Key Campground. Nice place. No hookups. They have a dump station. They have water at the restrooms. They were nice. Very pleasant. Nicely spaced and separated spots. Great vegetation. Very enjoyable. Very nice here. Headed out tomorrow to the KOA in Sugarloaf Key. Been here in the Everglades for a couple days. Nice park. A couple days you can just about do it all. I didn't make the run down to Flamingo, 38-mile drive. Pretty much got an idea of what it's like just around here. I went down on a Royal Palm and then of course did the Nike Missile Ranger-led tour. That was fun and educational. So just a beautiful park. Just nice being down here in mid-February, February 20th and 22nd, and having 86-degree weather, balmy skies, nice little breeze. But the mosquitoes are already starting out, so I wouldn't want to be down here in a wet season.